Take a look.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Big Hero Chris back at you with another one. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, give me a thumbs up, ring the notification bell, hit me up on Twitter, TikTok, the community post. You already know the vibes. And I'm back at you with your NXT review. Now, it's been quite a few weeks since I reviewed an episode of NXT, and that's mainly because of the NBA playoffs. Mainly my New York Knicks, man. A lot of their games were on Tuesdays and Fridays, so that's why you guys haven't been getting any NXT and SmackDown reviews from me, because I've been locked in on my New York Knicks, and unfortunately they got the boot, man. They're out, they're going home, they're going to Cancun, barely, because they're all injured. So there's that. So I have nothing left now except for pro wrestling. And what better way to make my return to the NXT reviews than this episode, where you have brawls and fights and shenanigans and people getting beat up, and Sexyy Red's coming next week. You know what I'm saying? That's right, you heard me correctly. Sexyy Red, the rapper, is going to be on NXT next week. Hang 'em high. Somehow you're responsible for this. I don't know if we blame you, if we praise you. I don't know. I'm going to give you the praise. Thank you for this. And we also have some qualifying matches for the ladder match for the NXT North American Women's Championship at Battleground. It's going to be a ladder match. And the first match, the kickoff of the show, was between Thea Hale and Fallon Henley. And Fallon Henley's a heel now. She's bad, she's evil. She's using the old Eddie Guerrero trick and pulling out a steel chair and not really using it. But the person that ended up getting caught was Rich Holland, that goof, that idiot. He ended up getting Chase U kicked out of ringside, and this ultimately led to Thea Hale getting distracted and Fallon Henley getting the win. So now she's going on to Battleground, and she's going to compete for the NXT North American Women's Championship. And then after the match, you had Jasmine X come out and hit a pretty cool Pele kick, man. It was really impressive. Looked really nice. She looks really nice as well, so that's always a good combination. And the other match, the qualifier for the ladder match, was between Jada Parker and Brinley Reese. I think that's her name, the one that always does cartwheels all the time. She didn't win. Jada Parker ended up getting the win, so now we have the first two participants in the ladder match. And then next week we're gonna have some more qualifying matches. I think Mia Yim's involved in one. I forget who the other people are. As far as the rest of this episode, man, it was typical NXT shenanigans, man. And you also had the D'Angelo family, led by Tony D'Angelo, who's now the new Heritage Cup champion. He won it last week. So that was pretty funny. And now this week we have Stax and Luca, the lawyer dude. They're taking on Axiom and Nathan Frazier, and this is a pretty fun match. Axiom and Nathan Frazier, I like them as a tag team. They're like super quick. They break the speed force and all that. I don't know who's faster, the Flash, Nathan Frazier, or Braun Breaker going in for a spirit. It's crazy how fast these men move, man. But Dutsu, the No Quarter Catch Club, they came out and started putting the beat down on Tony D'Angelo, and this got the D'Angelo family distracted. Nathan Frazier and Axiom ended up getting the win, and they're still your NXT Tag Team Champions. But after the match, you had the OC, Gallus and Anderson, the Good Brothers. That's Axiom and Nathan Frazier, and I'm pretty sure this is leading to a tag team match for those tag team titles at Battleground. So me personally, I think the OC should win. That's just me. I might be wrong, but I think the Bullet Club should end up getting the win and beating NXT Tag Team Champions. Hey. So after this, you had Professional, Lady Scarer, Alexis King, legit scare one of the ladies off. Mr. Stone was talking to one of the women in the back, and Alexis King really scared this lady away. And Alexis King was talking about how great he is and how he wants to fight. And Mr. Stone was like, "I'll fight you." And Ava said, nah, we know what happened last time. You kind of suck, Mr. Stone. But Lexis King will have an opponent later in the show. And that opponent ended up being Dante Chen. Me personally, I haven't seen Dante Chen in a long time, but he's been on NXT Level Up, and he has a pretty cool entrance, and the crowd was chanting, and you had the zoom in on Dante Chen, so good for him. And Dante Chen actually ended up getting, I guess you can call this an upset victory over Lexis King. But then again, everybody beats Sexyy King, so is it really an upset? I don't know. But good for you, Dante Chen. Welcome back to the main NXT show, the main roster, or whatever. So Wendy Chu's coming back. We keep seeing these vignettes of somebody snoring, and this week we saw the footy pajamas. We saw Wendy Chu stretching, so she's going to be coming back pretty soon. So good for her, good for the women's division. And speaking of the women's division, you had a video package for Roxanne Perez talking about how great she is and how she's the prodigy and blah blah blah. And then next week we're gonna find out who Roxanne Perez's opponent for Battleground is gonna be. So maybe Julia, I don't think so, but I can't really think of who else it would be, but we just gotta wait and see. But once again, speaking of the women, we had the big grudge tag team match between Natalya and Carmen Petrovich taking on the team of Shayna Baszler and Lola Vice. And this kind of makes me laugh because if you pay attention to Twitter and online, Shayna Baszler's tag team partner, Zoe Stark, she's been on this crusade of anti-butts and anti-ass. So it's interesting to see how Shayna Baszler is tagging up with Lola Vice, a woman who's very notorious for beating you up while shaking her big booty all over NXT. So that's a very funny dynamic. And speaking of Lola Vice dancing, Shayna Baszler was like, listen, we're out here to fight, leave the dancing in the back, don't come out here dancing, don't come out here doing all the goofy stuff. And Lola Vice is like, look, man, I'm Latina. This is what I do, baby. So Natalya and Carmen ended up getting the win with using the heart attack. So that was pretty cool. And then after the match, it looked like Shayna Baszler was gonna possibly attack Lola Vice, but she threw that on the reverse card, and Lola Vice ended up getting the drop on Shayna Baszler, and then they fight for a little bit, and then Ava says at NXT Battleground it's gonna be Lola Vice and Shayna Baszler and an NXT Underground match. And I'm like, this escalated really quickly from them being training partners to them being a tag team to now them being mortal enemies, and now they're gonna be fighting in the NXT Underground. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun match though, between two MMA trained fighters, like two women who can actually fight for real. So I'm here for it, man. I'm team Lola Vice all the way. But now this leads us to kind of the main thing I want to talk about. And what a way for me to make my return to NXT reviews than the return of Gallus, who made their return last week after they beat up Wesley and Josh Briggs and Ivar. And unfortunately, Ivar is injured. So now both the Viking Raiders are injured. And this led to a triple threat match, which was supposed to be Ivar, Josh Briggs, and Wesley to find out who will face Obafemi at Battleground. But Joe Coffey ended up replacing Ivar. And even though I do not care for Gallus, they're kind of boring. Their theme sucks. I don't really like them at all. This was a pretty entertaining triple threat match. And the way the match ended was a double pin on Josh Briggs. Both Joe Coffey and Wesley ended up getting the cover. So now it's going to be a triple threat match at Battleground. Obafemi, Wesley, and Joe Coffey. And I'm like, okay, I'm not really too mad about this, and it should be a pretty fun match. But this isn't the only time we see Gallus. So now we have the NXT champion Trick Williams come out, and he's trying to talk about how Noam Dar got attacked last week, and he's trying to clear his name and saying it wasn't him. Javon Evans said it wasn't him. And you have the Metaphor come out and say, we know it was you, Trick. You're evil, tricky man. But Lashley was just like, no, it wasn't him. And what I think they're trying to get at is the reason they didn't come out and say this, but I'm pretty sure that I'm connecting the dots here and saying that the reason Lashley knows that Trick Williams wasn't the person that attacked Noam Dar is because they were probably together, you know. We're all adults here. You know. But again, Joe Coffey comes out and he's talking about how he's saying words. I'm at this point I'm kind of like confused as to why Gallus is out here again, and they end up getting the beat down on Trick Williams. They end up beating up Javon Evans, and I'm like, Joe Coffey, you're already going after the North American Championship. Do you really need to go after the NXT Championship as well? I hope not. We still didn't see Noam Dar in this episode, so I hope he's okay. And I hope he's not injured as well, because there's been a whole lot of injuries going on in all sports. So hopefully Noam Dar is okay. But yeah, man, so next week is going to be the Gallus boys taking on Trick Williams and Javon Evans. And that should be a pretty entertaining tag team match. I just don't get why Gallus is all over NXT. And apparently, last week during their interview, they mentioned the final boss. And if you didn't catch what that means, in preparation for his match at WrestleMania, The Rock ended up training with Gallus. So I don't know if somehow Gallus and The Rock are going to be connected on television somehow. I would like for The Rock just to be with the bloodline, but then again, you never know. There might be all types of twists and turns in the bloodline saga, which may include Gallus. I don't know how to feel about that, but that's a bridge we have to cross wherever we get to it. But with that being said, guys, that was this week's episode of NXT. Yeah, man, get ready for Sexyy Red next week. Get ready for more Gallus. I know I'll be ready. But with that being said, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Of course, as always, like, comment, and subscribe. You guys take care of me. I'm out. Peace.